Andrew here, and this week we're talking about Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is an action fantasy manhwa that follows the story of Sung Ji-woo. There are going to be a lot of Korean words in this video, so I'm sorry for any bad pronunciations. In the world of Solo Leveling, portals that connect our world to a world of monsters have started opening. These portals are known as gates. At the same time, a certain portion of the population have acquired powers that allows them to defeat them. These people are known as hunters. You're not born a hunter, but awaken your powers at some point later in life. Though, it is said you are more likely to awaken if people in your family have awakened as hunters. Hunters are broken down into a ranking system based on how strong they are. At the low end, you have rank E, followed by D, C, B, A, and finally S. But unlike a lot of stories that follow this system, here, whatever rank you awaken at is the rank you stay at. You cannot increase your power after you have awakened. Well, at least not by normal means. There are a couple ways, but they are so rare, you basically cannot increase your power. These hunters, if they choose to, can go into gates and defeat the monsters. They then can acquire resources from both the monsters and the area inside the gate. This is also a great way of making money, but does come with the risk of dying. By defeating the boss monster that is found in each gate, the gate can be closed. If a gate is not closed within 7 days of appearing, what is known as a dungeon break occurs. This means that monsters from inside the gate can leave and make their way into the normal world. And as even the weakest monsters that live in the gates are much stronger than a normal person, these dungeon breaks can lead to a lot of lost lives. Now back to Sun Jin-woo. He is known as the weakest hunter. He is a E-rank hunter that still chooses to go into gates and fight. See, most E-rank hunters do not go into gates to fight, and most don't go in gates at all. This is because as an E-rank hunter, your strength and regeneration is just above that of a normal person. As such, most E-rank hunters get jobs not related to going into gates. And the ones that do tend to be part of the resource crews that go in after the monsters are killed. This is so that they can collect the resources found in the dungeon. But Jin-woo is different. He needs money to take care of his younger sister and to pay for his mom's medical bills. And not to get into any spoilers right now, but his father is not currently in the picture. Because he needs the money though, he decides to take on the risk of going into these gates despite being so weak. This is because being a hunter pays much more than most other jobs. Being so weak though, he often gets hurt and has trouble carrying his own weight as part of a team. He is also poor due to giving all of his money to his family, so he does not have much when it comes to gear or weapons. This makes it hard for him to find groups of people to join when they are entering a gate. He does have some friends though, and one of them is a healer that often heals Jin-woo when he is hurt. Also, despite constantly being injured when in these gates, Jin-woo never gives up, always getting back up and continuing. He is a quick thinker and can think well under a lot of pressure. So, everything I've covered up to this point when it comes to Jin-woo is covered in the first chapter. I did draw from later chapters for most of the world information though, so sorry if you did not want to learn that yet. But from now on, I'm going to talk about story-related events. If you don't want spoilers, skip to the time on screen now to hear if I recommend the series. We all ready? Okay. After most of the people die and those who don't have escaped, Jin-woo is left alone. Heavily injured, bleeding, and with statues approaching him, Jin-woo thinks he is going to die as he passes out. Then, there is a message that he has become a player. He then wakes up in a hospital. His injuries are healed, even his leg, which had been cut off. He is told that he was found healed on an altar after another team of hunters went in to clear the second dungeon, and that nothing was left of the dungeon other than the altar. He is then tested to see if he has undergone a second awakening. You may remember earlier that I said that there is basically no way to increase your power after your first awakening. Well, here's one of the ways you can. It is called a second awakening. The hunter basically undergoes another awakening that first gave them their powers, as the name suggests. It is extremely rare and happens under strange circumstances. Being found healed and on an altar, the Hunter Association, the group that manages hunters, gates, and information around the world, thinks he may have undergone a second awakening. But after testing him, they conclude that he has not had a second awakening and leave. But Jin-woo knows that something has changed with him as he can now see panels in the air that no one else can see. This shows him information about himself along with the daily quest. In the information, he sees that he is now called a player and that he is currently level 1. This of course comes along with the typical stance that you are used to in video games. Jin-woo now has the ability to level up and grow stronger by fighting monsters, something that no other hunter in the world has the ability to do. This is where the series gets its name, Solo Leveling, and its alternate name, I Alone Level Up. Knowing this, he keeps his new power secret and works towards becoming stronger. This is where I'm going to stop going over the story, as I feel like at this point you get what the series is about. Now, do I recommend the series? Yes, I really enjoyed reading this series, and after I caught up to where the manhwa is, I switched over to the web novel version of it. I have not finished the web novel yet, and I've gone back and read the manhwa chapters that have been released since I switched, because I wanted to see how they were drawn. This is the series that I think a lot of people can enjoy, even if they have not read a manga or manhwa yet. Though, you have to remember a couple things if you are going into this series as someone who has read manga. First, this is a webtoon, so it follows the scroll down style of chapter instead of the pages style. This is so it is a lot easier to read on phones. Second, it is Korean, so text is set from left to right, like with English. If you are a big manga reader, this may throw you off as you are used to right to left. Lastly, the web novel of this series has finished, but the manhwa is still ongoing. Solo Leveling is a South Korean manhwa and is based off Chungwon's web novel of the same name. It is licensed by both Webtoon and Tapitoon for its online English releases, while being published in volume form by Yen Press. Links to the official releases will be in the description. I also plan on making another video on Solo Leveling next week, talking about the major problem I have with the series, so be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss it. Also, if you could leave me a like and a comment, I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.